He looked personally offended by existence itself. That was the first thing anyone noticed about him. The scowl, the flattened glare, the way his enormous ears sat back like he was already judging the entire room before he even walked into it. People online called cats like him resting cat face. His family just called it Tuesday. But there was one rule in that house nobody dared to break, and the night they accidentally broke it, everything they thought they knew about this grumpy little cat fell apart. His name was Bean, a pale, almost hairless Cornish Rex with ears too big for his face and a permanent expression like he'd just been personally betrayed. He looked less like a pet and more like something summoned by accident. Strangers who met him for the first time usually said the same thing. Why does he look so mad? He wasn't mad, he just never learned how to look any other way. He'd been born that way, raised that way, judged that way before anyone bothered to actually get to know him. Bean came home alongside his littermate, a deep chocolate brown Cornish Rex named Mocha. Same breeder, same litter, same 8 weeks of tumbling over each other before they were ever separated from their mother. From day one, they were never apart, not for a nap, not for a meal, not even for a moment by the window. The family had expected 2 kittens who'd eventually grow into their own personalities, drift into their own corners of the house. That's what usually happens. Cats grow up, cats grow independent. They pick their favorite windowsill, their favorite human, their favorite quiet corner of the world, and they settle into it alone. Bean didn't get that memo. Everywhere Mocha went, Bean followed, 3 seconds behind, scowling the entire way like following his brother was somehow beneath him but non-negotiable anyway. If Mocha jumped on the counter, Bean jumped on the counter. If Mocha curled up on the heating vent, Bean squeezed in beside him, elbowing for space he clearly didn't need to fight for. At night, it became a ritual. Mocha would find a spot, the couch, the bed, the laundry basket, didn't matter, and within minutes, Bean would appear, grumbling the whole way over, and press himself against his brother's side like it was simply how the world was supposed to work. The family started to notice something stranger, though. Bean wouldn't sleep anywhere Mocha wasn't, not once, not for a single night in 2 years. They tried testing it, half out of curiosity, half out of disbelief. One evening, they shut Mocha in the office for 20 minutes while they cleaned the living room. Bean sat outside that door the entire time, unmoving, glaring at the wood like it had personally insulted him. The second the door opened, he shoved past everyone's legs and buried his face against his brother's neck. "He's not grumpy," someone joked once, watching the 2 of them tangled together on the windowsill. "He's just terrified of being alone and too proud to admit it." Nobody laughed because it was true. Underneath that scowl was a cat who had never once in his entire life had to be brave by himself. Mocha had always been there first. Mocha had been there before the world even had a shape. So when the 2 of them got separated, even for a moment, Bean didn't know what to do with himself. He'd never practiced. He'd never needed it. So when the vets scheduled their annual boosters on 2 separate days, a scheduling mix-up, nothing more, nobody thought twice about it. They should have. The morning Mocha left for his appointment without him, Bean sat by the door for 4 straight hours. He didn't eat, he didn't drink, he paced the same 6 feet of hallway, ears pinned, tail low, letting out this low, cracked sound nobody had ever heard him make before, somewhere between a growl and something far more vulnerable. When anyone tried to pick him up, he swatted away, not out of aggression, out of panic dressed up as attitude, because that was the only language he knew. By the time Mocha came home that afternoon, Bean had wedged himself into the narrowest gap behind the bookshelf, refusing to come out for anyone. If you've ever seen a cat fall apart in complete silence, you understand exactly what this family was watching happen in real time. They tried everything to comfort him during those 4 hours. Treats, his favorite toy, the soft blanket he usually ignored. He wanted none of it. He didn't want comfort, he wanted his brother, and nothing standing in for him was going to work. At one point, he let out that same cracked half-growl sound again, staring straight at the front door like sheer will alone might make it open sooner. It wasn't dramatic in the way people expect drama to look. There was no crying, no pacing in circles, no obvious performance of grief. Just a cat gone completely still in a way that felt much louder than any noise could have been. The second Mocha's carrier door opened, Bean shot out from behind that bookshelf faster than anyone had ever seen him move. He didn't stop to sniff, he didn't stop to check, he just slammed himself directly into his brother's side and stayed there, unmoving, for nearly 20 minutes. Before we go further, if stories like this one are hitting you right in the chest, that's exactly why we make them. Stick around because what happens next is the part nobody in this family saw coming. That night, everything changed. Mocha, groggy and cold from the vet visit, got wrapped in a soft knitted blanket to warm back up. Within seconds, Bean crawled directly underneath it with him, disappearing into the fabric until only his enormous ears poked out the top, looking like some kind of grumpy little gremlin who just declared the blanket his personal kingdom. He stayed there the entire night, not guarding the door, not patrolling the hallway, just pressed against his brother, breathing slow, ears finally relaxed for the first time all day. Somewhere around midnight, someone crept in to check on them, expecting the usual scowl, the usual warning glare. Instead, they found two small shapes buried under a mountain of yarn, one enormous pink ear twitching lazily in his sleep, completely unbothered by the world for the first time in his life. Whatever weight he'd been carrying since morning had finally been set down. The family realized then that the scowl had never meant anger. It had never meant coldness or distance or dislike. It was armor, a face built to look tough enough that nobody would ever question whether he needed anyone. But he did need someone. He needed exactly one someone, and he had needed him since the day they were born. Bean never stopped looking grumpy after that. He still glares at the vacuum, he still side-eyes guests like they've personally wronged him, he still sighs dramatically when asked to move 6 inches to the left, and he still refuses, on principle, to acknowledge anyone who walks in without announcing themselves first. But every single night, without exception, he finds Mocha first, and every single night he wraps himself around him like the world outside that blanket simply doesn't exist. Because sometimes the fiercest looking ones aren't fierce at all. Sometimes that scowl is just a smaller, softer thing wearing a very convincing disguise. The same way some of us walk around looking like we've got it all figured out, when really we just found the one person we refuse to sleep without. So tell me, do you think that grumpy face is really an attitude, or is it just a shield for something a lot softer underneath? Let me know in the comments.